welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So we are once again building in San Sequoia. I butchered that pronunciation completely. Anyway, moving on that, let's just glaze past it. So I'm building a Craftsman house today, and it is for a family of 2 parents, 1 child, and an infant, and they also have room for a cat. If you're looking for the cat stuff while I'm building, just know that I built this over 2 days, so once I started on the second day, I might have forgotten a few things, but then before I took the screenshots, or like in the middle of the screenshots or something, I remembered that I've forgotten some of the things for the cat, so don't worry. There is, for example, I've only included footage of one of the bathrooms in this house, and the litter box is in one of the other bathrooms, so should be covered, you know. The cat's not gonna go pee crazy all over the house. At least I hope not, but like, I don't know. But it has its own like little, it's not a full-on cat tree, but it's one of those little boxes. It has a scratching thing as well, and a couple of other things. So the cat should be good. I just felt like they would have some kind of pet. I suppose you could also have a dog here, you know, do whatever you want to do. But yeah, so that's what we're building today. I started building this on a 30 by 20, and as you can see, the house turned out, the frame, shell, whatever, turned out a lot bigger than I initially thought it was going to be. I just kept building onto it, so I had to move it, and it resulted in, first of all, the house taking a lot longer to build because I had to both make it just a tiny bit bigger again, because I moved it to a 40 by 30, and then 40 by 30s also take a lot longer to decorate for me because I really want to go into detail with the rooms and everything. I had a little bit of hand paint this week as well, so that's a thing as well I gotta take in mind and or take into consideration, just take breaks and stuff. So yeah, it took a little bit longer to finish this house than I thought it was going to, and that's why there hasn't been a video up the last couple of days. So, but I hope you guys will like this one though. So I have had extra time to now go through everything in the new pack and like see what you can use it for and stuff, and just try to use everything that's available to us with the pack. And I still want to say that I don't think on its own, but I also don't think this is a builder's pack. I think it's definitely focused on gameplay. So I don't think the stuff on its own is necessarily enough to fill out a 40 by 30 house like this. I felt like there were definitely some items missing. It's nice to see so many chairs and couches, for example, but the coffee tables don't necessarily fully go together with the chairs and the couches and stuff. For example, there's this like, I'm actually using it in this house. So there's this like vintage, it's not vintage, but it looks like a grandparents kind of couch. You know which one I'm talking about, right? And it just doesn't go with the coffee tables and the side tables that we got. So it's a bit funny like that. For a pack that has so much family gameplay as well, we have a small dining table as well. There's no 6, or like, what do you call that? Because I suppose it's for 8 chairs. There's no dining table for 8 chairs. There's only one for 6. So you would think that we'd have a bit more options like that, but you know, they also had to make room for all the community center packs, and I'm guessing at this point that they kind of assume that other, like the people that still are playing, have more packs than just this one and stuff. So I did have to kind of like go in with some other packs and supply, or you know, that's not what it's called, that's how you say that in Danish. I had to kind of just add a few items from other packs as well to make sure that everything was covered. So for example, the 3-tile dining table, we don't have any new kitchen items either, which kind of threw me off a little bit. So I've been using base game counters for that. And I think overall I ended up mixing a lot of the new stuff with like seasons and base game and maybe a little bit of famous or something. Seasons because they have these more rustic looking pieces, such as the coffee table that I'm using in this house. You'll see that in a little bit. And also actually very nice, stylish, clean, I don't know what style to call it, but the dining table that I ended up using was from Seasons. And then get famous because they have nice mid-century modern items, which I feel fits very well with some of the chairs, for example, that are in the new pack, because they do have a mid-century modern feel to them as well. So yeah. And then the kitchen is industrial. Don't ask. I can't give you a reason for that. I just decided to do it, okay? I felt like this is the vibe that I want to go for in the kitchen, and I went for it. I literally never use those counters, so if I feel like using the counters, I'm gonna do it, even if I can't justify it. So I will say, for the floor plan, I did it off cam just because it's a 40 by 30 house, so I don't want to make you sit through that. Like, that's a lot of placing down walls and deleting them and then moving the chairs, or not chairs, stairs, and figuring out where to put the bathrooms and stuff. It's a whole lot. So I just didn't I didn't feel like making you guys sit through that. I'm nice like that, or at least I try to be. So yeah, just kind of, but I feel like you can get an overview of how everything looks. I do want to point out that over here, for me, it feels very unnatural to walk directly or step directly into the living room, which is why I kept putting up a wall here and then deleting it, because then suddenly the room turned very narrow and I don't like that either. And then I put it down again because, again, it feels weird to walk into a living room. I'm from Scandinavia. It's cold up here. We don't know. It's just, no. Like, it doesn't work. So, yeah, it feels very unnatural to just step directly into a living room. I know that's natural for some of you Americans out there. I fully know because you keep telling me over and over and over. So I already know. But for me, it's cold. It's just kind of like, I'm imagining myself sitting on the couch and then someone comes home and I'm like, ugh, close the door. Like, so cold. So I really had to convince myself to remove that wall once again, but I ended up not having it there. So if you do prefer the living room being closed off though, you can place a wall where there's already like a little bit of a wall here on the right side sticking out. Just continue that wall, add down an archway or something so you can step into the living room and you're good. Just wanted to give you guys the option to do that, but I didn't personally want the living room to be that narrow. I just felt like it just didn't fit with a house this big. So in my version of the house, there is no wall there, but I just wanted to explain it. So you have the option or the possibility to add the wall if you want to. So you can kind of get a feel for the rest of the interior and also the color scheme by this little corner of the living room already. I just kind of wanted the house to be warm, and I've been using this wallpaper a lot, the one on the left side, which is actually from my wedding stories. It's supposed to be an exterior wallpaper, but it's like, it's white, right? One of the swatches is white, but you can literally see that it's not full-on white, it's more like an off-white, and I feel like full-on white walls in The Sims often end up looking a little bit harsh, and also have a tendency to either look a little bit blue, although I use reshade, so it doesn't look full-on blue. It definitely gets a little bit of softer shine to it, but I know that if you download the build, it'll look, you know, not like that in your game unless you're using the exact same preset as I am. So I've been using this one a lot because it's just like, it has like a nice, soft, kind of like a little bit of a warm tone to it, so because it's off-white. So I just want to, yeah, we're using that a lot these days. I'm aware of that, but I think it looks very good with brown as well, which is what we're using a lot throughout this house. So think specifically two different tones of brown, this like darker one that actually fits very well with the counters down here, the lower counters. Those cabinets are supposed to be the same swatch as those counters, by the way, I just want to say. That is the thing. I did not choose that, but they are the same swatch. So if that bothers you, it didn't bother me. I actually kind of like the look of it, but if it bothers you, I just want to say, in my defense, they are the same swatch. So they're the third one or something when you click on both. I don't know, maybe, yeah. I feel like they work together, but it did kind of throw me off a little bit. You can literally see it on the cabinet here on the left side. Like, they do go together. It just kind of surprised me a bit. But anyway, the browns, we're using a light beigey kind of brown, and then also a very dark one that is not too warm either. And I'm kind of trying to do the same throughout the rest of the house. You'll see it in the dining room as well, even though we're using primarily the dark one. The dining table itself, for example, is beigey. So just kind of like trying to not make everything too matchy-matchy because I don't personally love that. I like when there's a little bit of a play of colors or a play of wood tones, or if you will. I don't know how I said that. Wood tones, if you will. I just like when not everything is literally the same tone. It just, yeah. I feel like I've said that a lot lately as well, but I'm really hammering home the point. So I hope you get it, but it's just not for me. So you'll see that throughout the house. Some of the rooms I also had to add a little bit of white wood as well, just because the items weren't available in the right colors and stuff. And then of course, here I wanted to do something funny with two of the, are they from Eco Lifestyle? I can't remember. I think they are. Oh, I did actually, this reminds me. So I did a post on Twitter because people were doing these like 5 packs to summarize you or to describe yourself or something. So I said, as a Scandinavian builder that does a lot of family homes and tiny houses, and I put Eco Lifestyle on there. And apparently that's surprising. I don't know why you'd find that surprising. I use Eco Lifestyle all the time. It might not be like the actual Eco Lifestyle items, you know, the water collector or the power generator or like those items, but a lot of the furniture, not the furniture that really looks like it's homemade, but the rest, I use that all the time, and I use the wallpapers all the time as well. I don't know why that's surprising. They're really good items, I'm just gonna say. But I think the rest shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone, because number 1 was Dream Home Decorator, and number 2 is Tiny Living. And I remember, what else did I put on there? Actually, I cannot remember the rest. But actually, I just went to check. It's Parenthood and then Discover University. Neither of those should be surprising either, because Parenthood items give me a homey feel, and I do a lot of family homes, which was also stated in the post. And then Discover University has a lot of those IKEA items. Shouldn't be a surprise either. So I think those are my top 5, but I don't know. Let me know if you agree though. Like, what would be your top 5? Because it's very different from person to person. It's very interesting to actually see, like, even just if you look at builders' opinions, they're very different from each other. But yeah, because a friend of mine, for example, Ashley, Dr. Ashley, she added city living to hers, which I get, but then personally, I don't do, a lot of the items are very, like, not versatile to me personally, but also, I don't do a lot of apartments anymore. I used to do them all the time, but I stopped because I got tired of the window placement. And then I started using Tool to change the window placement. But then I got told that you guys can't download them if I've changed the window placement. So I stopped doing them again. So I'm like kind of out of the city living world. I'm just not into it right now. I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. But I respect her opinion on that. You know, I respect it. City living is it's a good world as well as MSU. So, and there's some really quality items in that pack. I just feel like a lot of the other ones I use a lot more. So, because they're very stylized, the city living ones. So this room right here is supposed to be like a home office / hobby room. I actually think I ended up deleting or just scrapping the idea of them having a desk in there with a computer on it. I have been told as well by a lot of you actually that you often like when there's a lot of skill leveling items in the houses, but I always personally find it a little bit hard to include them because they don't feel realistic to have in a build. Like, I did not grow up in a room or in a house with an easel, for example. Like, it's just kind of, or with a full-on big piano. I love the upright standing piano. Like, yes, brava. Thank you for including that. But like a lot of the skill leveling items, they just don't feel natural to me to include in builds. So I tend to overlook them a lot. However, really wanted to include some in this build, so I decided to actually dedicate a whole room to it. So you can always level up your skills in The Sims through reading, but I also know that sometimes Sims get very annoying, they just stop reading. It's very natural, actually, to, like, that's actually fairly realistic, I want to say. So I'm personally very focused when I read. But I do have days where maybe I've slept a little bit less and I just can't focus on it. So I keep putting down my book after I've read like 20 sentences, or I keep picking up my phone or something. It's very realistic to do that. It's just, I remember my Sims when I used to play would often put down books when I was trying to level up their skills. So, but it is a possibility, at least it's an option. So there's a lot of bookcases in there. And of course they have somewhere to sit as well when they're reading their stuff, so I added the bookcase, but I also added a guitar, and there's a piano, and then I added the bonsai tree thingy, which I don't remember the last time I used that, but I thought it was cool. So it's in the corner of the office. I considered for a hot minute, to include the woodworking table. However, I felt like it would probably fit like a garage setting a little bit better than a home office, so I didn't include it. I don't know. It's a lot of dirt and like I don't know what that's called. Residue, like wood residue. Is that what it's called? I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard. There's a specific word for it in Danish, but I don't think I've ever heard that word in English. So, sausmul? I don't know. If anybody knows, if there's a Dane out there that heard that and you know the English equivalent, let me know in the comments. But like, I'm gonna call it wood residue for now. But I felt like it would just leave too much of a mess. I know it doesn't do that in The Sims, but in my head I'm like, nah. So we still gotta keep some sort of realism, yes, to the build. So in here we have the parents' bedroom. It's very small. I actually think the kids' bedroom might be a little bit bigger than this one, or are they about the same size? I can't count at all right now. I think it might be just like a tiny bit. Maybe they're about the same size. Anyway, it's not important. I actually really like the flow of things in this room. I often prefer to make bedrooms a little bit smaller, as you've probably noticed throughout the years, especially children's rooms, because I just like when furniture is crammed together. I don't know why, but that's a thing. So this is a good size for me. Like, this room is a good, pleasant size for my interior decorating style, whatever you want to call it. And it just has like a nice little flow. So we got over here in the corner of the room a vanity that is not functional whatsoever, but it looks nice, in my personal opinion at least. There's a lot of like makeup and, you know, beauty products and stuff. They have one, I mean, obviously these Sims do not have a lot of clothes. I think I've gotten very used to the Dream Home Decorator wardrobe elements, and now it just looks like whenever I put down like a cabinet or whatever else I want to put down, just a small wardrobe, it really feels like the Sims do not have a lot of clothes, and that's fine if you don't have a lot of clothes. Like, there are people out there that don't. I just don't know those people. So yeah, actually thinking about it, where did my dad keep his clothes in the house? I think he had his in basically just like a small wardrobe in the, you know, in the dining room maybe? I don't know. Our house is weird. It's fine. So I don't know. So yeah, it just feels like whenever I place down a wardrobe that they have space missing for clothes, especially if it's two people, because if you think about it, that was just my dad's clothes, like only his. If there were two parents in the house, they'd probably need more than just that wardrobe, right? But the parents only have like a small wardrobe, and that bothered me a lot while I was decorating, so I added the hallway table as well. Just pretend like they have like jeans or trousers or whatever in the hallway table, and then the wardrobe is for like hanging clothes, like dresses and shirts and whatever else you hang up. I hang everything, so I don't know how. It's fine. Anyway, or not everything, but a lot. You can really tell that I tunnel visioned on that wardrobe, but it just feels wrong. I'm so used to using the Dream Home Decorator wardrobe elements, like it's just not enough clothes. Anywho, so the kids' bedroom in here, to put it bluntly, or to like, my wrist just cracked. I'm sorry if the microphone most definitely picked that up, but anyway, to put it like in short, like, yeah, for this room, I just wanted it to look like a unicorn had thrown up in here. And then I started thinking about isn't there a TV series where a unicorn got killed at the start of it, but the unicorn looked like a man, except he was like covered in glitter or something, and then the whole room, the whole child's room, because the child was able to see the unicorn, but the parent, the mom, wasn't able to see the unicorn, and the unicorn's blood was like shimmery, glittery, and it was like all over the room. And these two people, oh, is that Supernatural? That might have been Supernatural. That might have been an episode in Supernatural. Yeah, that might have been a thing, right? Wasn't that a thing? Or am I mixing it up with something else? Please help me, because that's all I thought about while I was decorating this room. As soon as I got this, like, I wanted to look like a unicorn threw up in here or something else. I don't know. Let's not go into specifics. All I could see in my head was all this, like, shimmery, glittery unicorn blood just all over this room, and I cannot place it for the life of me. What series or movie is it? Please help me out. Thinking about it, it might actually have been. It definitely could sound like a Supernatural episode. They have a couple of weird ones in there that just are very random and stuff, so it could be something like that, but I don't know. I know there's a couple of you out there who are huge Supernatural fans as well, so if you can recognize it, let me know. Yeah, I'm very confused. It's been bothering me since. But as for, yeah, so when, where the child got to basically do their thing in that bedroom and just decorate it to their liking and say, like, I want everything to be very pink and purple and blue, and I want it to look like a unicorn lives in here. Of course, the parents got to choose for the infant because the infant doesn't have any opinions yet. So this room here fits with the rest of the house a little bit better than the child's room, but I actually like it. I think I've talked about this before as well. I like it when, like, children's rooms and teens rooms and whoever else living in the house, they just, their rooms don't necessarily fit with the rest of the house, because it means that they got to decide what their room looks like themselves, so it reflects their personality a little bit better than everything just being fully matchy with each other. But an infant doesn't know, so you know. So the parents got to decorate this with so it fit with the rest of the house. I did try to keep like a nature theme in there a little bit, and it almost reminded me a little bit of like especially with the fairy lights above the bed, and then with the wood tone in there and the trees in the background, kind of reminded me a little bit of like a woodland wedding situation. I don't know. So, and then this is the only bathroom that you're gonna see. It's the biggest one in the house, but they have 4 total. So they got 2 on the second floor and then 2 on the ground floor. There is one very close to the nursery and the parents' bedroom. The parents' bedroom is very close to the nursery, so it's like in between those two. And this is the one that maybe the kid mainly uses because, or like maybe one of the parents uses the other one, and then the other one hurries off to here in the morning or something. But we also have 2 bathrooms on the ground floor, or at least one of them is a bathroom, I think, with a shower stall in there. The other one might just be a powder room, I can't remember. There's a whole situation, but you can see it, also because I had to use one of them for like storage. It makes sense if you see the floor plan at the end of the video. It's around the kitchen area. There's another bathroom, and then one like right in the middle, so very close to the front door. Because like I've explained before, I just like when there are bathrooms very close to the front door. I feel like it's realistic. I feel like it's very natural to have to pee the moment you enter the house as well. And I don't want the Sims to panic. I don't want the idea, like, in my head that they come home from work or school. I know they automatically do their business wherever they are, whatever they're attending. But it's just the thought, like, don't tell me that you've not hurried home after school. You had to walk home or something like that. Or like go on bike or whatever. And then you came home and you couldn't find your keys and you're just panicking more and more because you're about to pee your pants. Don't tell me you've not been in that situation. We have all been in that situation. So I don't like the idea of it. So now I've just decided to, as often as I can at least, add bathrooms very close to the front door so we don't experience those situations again. Yeah, I'm saving your Sims selves from themselves. That was really difficult to say. Anyway, moving on. So we are starting on the exterior again. The yard is pretty simple, but first off, we have like a little bit of a, this is the only outdoors eating area that I gave them. So this is where I put the grill as well. The grill is mandatory in family homes, almost. If they have room for it, I'll add it. And I decided to place it on this like back porch. So I don't know exactly what this area actually looks like what kind of view do they have from the back porch? I don't fully know. But as for the rest of the yard, very simple. I think it's because I added two big items or two big elements to the yard. So I really wanted to, since we're building on a 40 by 30 today, I wanted to jump on the opportunity to give them this like treehouse situation because it's a new item and it was too big for the 30 by 20 that I did Saturday. So I gave them the treehouse situation, whatever you want to call it, in this build. And then on top of that, they also have a pool. And I just feel like this seems to be inspired by, am I wrong if I say it's inspired by San Francisco? Like, I don't fully know. But it also just gives me like, kind of gives me Willow Creek vibes, but with Craftsman houses. I'm not gonna lie, like it just feels like a very like traditional kind of suburban area. So it's not like I haven't seen any of this before. It feels like a mix of like the water harbor area in Cats and Dogs, which is, I know what that's inspired by the way. Just want to say, so like, don't give me geography lessons. You don't need to, at least. But like the water area, and then, or it could be the water area in, what's up, Copperdale, but like sunnier, because Copperdale in my head is very gray all the time. I don't know what that's about, but it just feels like maybe it's the lighting. The lighting naturally is very dull in Copperdale. Have you guys noticed? But anyway, and then just throw some Willow Creek vibes in there. But I think it's inspired by San Francisco, right? So I don't know because I've never been. And frankly, I don't see a lot of pictures of suburban areas, just in general. Not what I see outside of watching true crime. And I can't differentiate the areas from each other. So yeah, it's more like here's some streets with suburban houses and some trees. And then they all look the same, like regardless of where they are, you know, in the US. But I think it's San Francisco. Correct me if I'm wrong though, or if you know better, let me know, teach me, because I literally am clueless. I forgot why I started talking about this as well, because now I went off on a tangent. But the pool, I don't know. I feel like it's sunny. It reminds me, it could also just be that I'm using MCCZ, but whenever I've opened the game, it's been very sunny. So to me, it feels very natural for them to have a pool, but like, I don't know. Copperdale feels weird to put down a pool, I'm not gonna lie. But San Sequoia feels very natural to give them a pool. Is that wrong? I don't know. This is a whole subject that we can talk about at some point, because as a foreigner, there's a lot I don't know about these areas, like I have no idea. So I just sometimes have to guess, and which is also fun, but that's a whole subject. However, we are getting to the end of the video, so I'm not going to start talking about it. We're going to do that in another one. But if you guys like this house, you can download it off the gallery. My ID is AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. And as always, the tray files can be found over on my Patreon, which will be linked to in the description box as well as in the pinned comment, where you can also find a link to my booktube channel. So if you like to read and you like to watch videos where people talk about books, nerd out about books, recommend books, and all that stuff, definitely check it out. But that is all I got for you guys today. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Take your time, fall in line someday. It's hard to win, hard to pin.